Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Chupacabra tutorials channel. I'm your host Larry, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to use Steam's new, currently as I'm recording this in beta recording feature that allows you to record natively through Steam's overlay system. So by default, it's turned off when you get Steam and it's downloaded and you've updated to the beta version, or later on the full version when this is released. So you have to go into your settings when you've got your overlay open like I do, and then you have to go from in-game, which is these settings here, down to your game recording. And you have three options. You have off, so no recording is happening. You have record in the background, where it records a certain number of minutes on a loop, and then you can save out a clip from that recording. Or you can do it manually, although I will say, just off the bat, that no matter what you do, the recording loop, at least right now, is always on in the background recording, and you can't really turn that off even if you're not fully using it. But for my purposes, I like to use the record manually function, and each one of these has their own settings built into them. So if we zoom in here, what we've got going on is you can determine the length of the video that is being recorded. Currently it's set to 15 minutes because that's the slowest I can, or the lowest I can set it. Normally it's set by default to 120 minutes, and then you can set the bitrate to something about medium. The amount of bitrate that you select, which is the quality of your video, is going to determine how much disk space this eats up, and it'll actually tell you on the right-hand side how much that's going to eat. It'll also tell you where the recording folder is. Now, unlike other games and other tools that might have a built-in recording feature, this recorder does not actually record in a format that you can immediately upload to YouTube. You actually have to use their in-overlay editor in order to export your video from Steam so that you can upload it to somewhere like YouTube. So just keep that in mind. But if you have like a secondary hard drive like I do, and you'd like to record your videos there rather than to your main hard drive, you can click this button to change that folder location here. GPU encoding is always really nice. It uses your graphics card to speed things up, and in this case, because it's a video, it's literally just going to steal a copy of whatever's being sent to your monitor and just record it to a video. So it's super efficient compared with turning it off, which gets your CPU involved, which can cause throttling and bottlenecking and other problems, especially if the game you're playing is very CPU intensive. Down here you have various shortcut keys that you can change. When it comes to the background recording, this one lets you set a timeline marker, so you can go back and save that moment out when you're not busy getting attacked in the game. And then you can also take screenshots with F12 as you're playing the game. And you can change all of these settings pretty dynamically. You can also disable game recording for specific games. If you play a game a lot but you never want to record it, you can specify that here. That way you can kind of set these settings up and forget about it later. You can change your frame rate between 60 and 30, but you probably always want to have it at 60 unless you have a specific reason not to. And then you can toggle whether or not you want to record your microphone. And then you can also toggle whether or not you want to just record the game's audio or all the system's audio or selected programs, so that, say, you can record both your audio and your friends who are playing alongside you that are on Discord with you. In my case, I only need game audio only for the purposes of this video. Now, when it comes to recording your microphone, I'm fairly certain that it takes your voice settings from your voice over here, which will determine if you're using an open microphone or if you're using a push-to-talk. I'm still kind of messing around with that, especially because this is such an early version of this software. Similarly, you've got voice, and then you've got... There was an in-game voice before as well that I saw when I was playing around, but that option has disappeared from the sidebar, so I guess that's not available right now. So back to recording. That's the settings for the background recording. Recording manually is very similar. You're going to pick the quality that you want to record at. Because this is always on in the background, I'm going to set this as low as it'll let me, which is 15 minutes. And I'm going to come back over here. I want the highest bit rate possible because I always record in the highest possible quality. Then I can edit it down later if I want to, or blow it up if I want to like release like a clip in 4K. And then you can see all of the different key bindings to start and stop your recording, which is Control F11, which makes a sound when you press it and also makes a sound when you turn it off. You can also set shortcuts to start and stop the recording when you're on a controller. And then you can adjust your frame rate and recording your microphone and all of that jazz down here at the bottom. So let's run around and see what this is like while I've got Elden Ring open. We'll go murk a couple of these bird things, and then I'll come back and we'll see what the video quality looks like. So I'm going to hit Control F11. You'll see a little pop-up appeared in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And then it also made a beeping noise. We'll just delete a couple of these birds, because why not? It's always interesting when you try to record these softwares together at the same time, because inevitably something wants to conflict but can't. So it looks stuttery on my end a little bit when you're using two recorders at the same time, but then when you preview it afterwards, it's fine. Alright, so we kind of walked around, we killed a few things. Now let's see if we run back up here what everything looks like when we open the menu back up. So with this shut, let me just go ahead and turn off the recorder. You see it made a different sound just there as I stopped the recording. And here you can kind of see where things are going on, like, because like I said... Whoa. So because like I said before, this is always recording clips in the background. Whenever I close the overlay and start running around, the background recording will record some of that in blue, and I can clip that and then save it out as a video if I want. So I can clip that, and then I can pick in and out, and I can save this as a clip to then share later. So I can either save this to Steam, so I can post this to my Steam timeline for the game, or I can export this video file as an MP4 file to whatever folder I want on my computer. And I could call that... Whoops. Cool Elden Ring Clip 01, and then I can just save that, and it automatically saves that file out as an MP4 for me to be able to use wherever I want. So similarly, I can look over here to this video clip here that I intentionally recorded, and you can actually listen to it. We'll just delete a couple of these birds, because why not? It's always interesting when you try to record these. So you can see, it actually did a pretty good job of recording my voice without having a whole bunch of chaff and choppy stuff from my office around me, because I do have a fan on behind me in the other room for an air conditioner and stuff like that. So that's actually good to see. And it's relatively smooth. You can hear the game audio really well. So let's go ahead and view these clips. So the background recording is currently running. I want to edit this one. And what sort of editing do I have as an option? I can adjust the volume if I want. And then I can edit with this clip feature. I can trim off the ends here. So I can trim whatever I want and only keep like this last portion here as I'm leaving the area. And then I can save that and export it. So it's kind of handy that you can do a little bit of basic editing, and then you can save this out, and then you can share this with your friends on your Elden Ring timeline. So that's kind of handy. Now likewise, you can also back up, and you can see all of the other clips that you've recorded here. Because when you click on the recording button, let me just exit out of literally everything. So normally when this is turned on, this clip thing's always at the top of the screen, but if I click on the recordings button, it'll bring up whatever I have recording, and I can click the view clips button, and it will show me all of the different clips that I have available to me to mess around with. For some reason, it does say there's no recordings available because I've turned off the automatic recording in the background, so technically I'm using manual recording only. But you can always click on the View Clips button to see all of the clips that you've recorded and messed around with right here. Then you can select them. You can delete them if you want. Like, say I don't want any of these anymore, I can just delete all of them. 11, you'll see a little, and then those are gone, and I can save space that way. If you click on the gear, it just brings back up these manual controls where you can switch to record in the background if you want. And I can switch that to recording for an hour for 60 minutes. And that'll take up about 10 gigs of space. And let's see what that does when I mess around with the ability for it to just capture clips automatically in the background, because I'm curious. Because obviously, the main thing that I want when I mess with software like this is I really want the ability to control specific clips that I'm intentionally trying to capture. But there are a lot of people out there who just want to capture like their cool moments when they're out playing with their friends, especially with games like Space Marine 2 coming out. They've got really cool kill cams. It's really handy to be able to see and share that stuff with other friends. Alright, so that seems safe enough for right now. Let's see what that did. So now I can see where you can switch to record in the background. So now it's switched to record in the background, and I can save this. Let's save that to Steam. Now I can view this clip, and that clip's right here. Now where do I share this? I can export this video file, I can copy it to the clipboard, or I can send it to another device, which is handy. I can also trim this down a little bit, and I can clip it. Then I can save it, and then I can share it automatically to somebody who is in my friends list. I can directly send them a message. I can create a shareable link to send to people. I can send it to a phone. I can email it to another device, or I can export it. So that's kind of nice. We'll just save this clip. We'll confirm that your microphone, and then we'll just close that. And then, yeah, you can see your clips right here. I'm still not entirely certain what it wants to do with this video. Oh, this is just the big long video, the active video. Oh, so this is just the player for what's going on at the top. Understood. So that makes sense. All right. So we've answered a few questions here today, and that's good. So anyway, this has been a brief look at how to use the new built-in Steam recorder. It's not really supposed to be like an alternative or a replacement for OBS or for whatever the one is that people use on Twitch. I'm brain farting the name. There's a dozen different things that you can use to record and share your recordings with your friends and other people. And it's not really going to be a replacement for that. This is going to be a tool designed mostly for recording cool highlights and cool clips in order to share it with your friends. So I hope you found this helpful. I've been your host, Larry. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody, and have a good one.